I often use these straps to secure my fiberglass pole when using it out in the field. They're quite sturdy, short, easy to use, and only cost a couple of dollars from the hardware store. Have a bit of a friction lock, which just holds everything in place. So nice and sturdy, nice and easy, one at the top and one at the bottom of the pole. Generally will keep it nice and secure and in place. So it only takes a few minutes to set up and tear down when we're finished. So very simple, very straightforward. If you need to, you can also pull the strap around the pole a couple of times. Sometimes once isn't enough. It's a little bit slippery, so wrap it around a couple of times, pull it tight, and it'll stay there even during the strongest of winds. Another option that I do use sometimes is a good old Oki strap or elastic strap, which you can get from the hardware store. Very simple, wrap it around, connect it up together, and just undo it and pull it apart when you're finished. Nice and easy. Invariably what happens is that I'll set my fiberglass pole up nice and tight, nice and secure, only to realise that I haven't actually got the inner parts of the pole out so that I can put the antenna up, and unfortunately it can be impossible to do. Makes me very sad. So to overcome that, and to also have a mechanism to hang an antenna from, or a wire from, all I usually do here is just using a zip tie or a cable tie, is just put a piece of string or some very thin rope, in this case it's builder's twine, just around the top of the top section of the pole, secure it in place, and yeah, takes care of everything. So it's just a bit of a loop, just hangs down, nothing particularly complicated about that, which means next time you go out to wherever you're going, you strap your pole to the fence or wherever, take the cap off, and voila, you can pull the pole out without any problems, and everybody's happy. When you do first get a fiberglass pole, what you find is that it's actually quite dirty inside. All of the different sections have a lot of grit and grime and corruption in there from the manufacturing process, no doubt. This means that you're actually going to damage the pole as you use it, as you extend it and collapse it. All of that grime just grinds away on the inside. So one of the first things that you should do is just take the whole thing apart. You just unscrew the bottom cap, pull all of the sections out, and basically give the whole thing a clean. This is obviously going to remove all that grime and make your fiberglass pole potentially last longer than it normally would. So the idea is to just pull all of the sections out. I'm not going to do all of them here. It'll take a bit too long and be a bit boring, but you get the idea. Pull them all apart, and just using a damp cloth or some soapy water on a cloth, just run over each section, give it a bit of a twist as you move the cloth along, and that'll get rid of everything for you. You can also put the cloth up the inside if you want to, just to get everything out that's stuck on the inside wall of each of the larger sections. So just go through each section, give it a really good clean, and once you've done all that and it's nice and dry, then just put it all back together again, the opposite way in which you pull it apart, making sure, of course, that you get the right sections in the right spot. It won't go together otherwise, and you'll have all sorts of problems. So quite a simple task, but in fact quite an important task, I reckon. So just slide it all back together, and away you go. Now, one of the things that I've found is that the pole itself, with the cap on the bottom, can actually cause you some problems if the pole was to collapse through to weather or weight. So what I generally do is put something just inside the cap to absorb the shock of the pole collapsing. That way it doesn't send too many shock waves back up the pole and potentially crack the fiberglass. So in this case it's just a piece of an old dishcloth that's just screwed up in the bottom. Just poke it in there, screw the cap back on, and it acts as a little bit of a shock absorber. It's better than nothing, and like I said, it may save you in case the pole collapses and shatters. And once that's all done, just use a bit of electrical tape just to secure that cap on a little bit tighter than what it normally would be. It is a bit of a point of failure, and over time it might come loose. You might lose it, or it might break off. So just keeps it in place nice and tightly. So at the other end of the pole we have this nice big thick rubber cap, which looks nice and meaty and chunky, and not the sort of thing that you possibly would expect to lose, but you'd be surprised at how easily these things just disappear. So one way to guard against them being lost is just to put a small piece of rope or twine or string or something through them and tape it onto the pole. That way it's always secured and never likely to be lost. So in this case we're just poking a little hole through the rubber there with a small screwdriver, poke some builder's twine again, in this case through the hole, tie it off, and there you have your cap, nice and secured by a piece of string there. Poke him back in, the string doesn't get in the way of securing it onto the pole, and then basically just take the other end of the string and I tie it onto the pole with another zip tie, just wrap it around a couple of times, make it nice and secure, and that cap's not going to go anywhere after that. We'll require some electrical tape around the cable tie. Cable tie will slide along the pole. It's difficult to get really tight, especially by hand. So just wrap some electrical tape around there. It holds it in place. Doesn't need to be anything fancy. And yeah, you will never lose your cap. So now we've got the pole. We can come along, pull the cap off, and voila, cap's not going to go anywhere, and we can get the pole out nice and easily. And in this case, just use a one of those little anodized hooks to perhaps hang the antenna from, and there you go. Nice and easy when you're out in the field. Makes things nice and quick, and everybody's happy.